Hey guys, Epicenter Brian here. Today is sort of a retro tech day, and I want to show you something from my collection. Now, some of you guys know that I'm into old audio equipment, and this is one of my favorite pieces. This unusual item was made by the Presto Recording Corporation right around 1952. It's called the TL10, and it looks like a tape player. It is, except this one's very unusual. There are actually no electronics on this. This was intended for radio stations, and they would hook up the playhead to their mix board. All the mix boards had spare channels, so that saved money. And then this was also less expensive because it has no motors. There are actually no motors here. Now, what this did was it adapted onto a 16-inch transcription record player and allowed the record player to be used to play records, but also to turn this mechanism and pull the tape past the heads. So it became a tape adapter for a record player. Now, to give you a little bit of background, back before the tape recorders started showing up in radio stations, program material was sent to radio stations on these huge 16-inch discs. This is called a transcription disc. It's 16 inches, and so concerts and things like that were sent to radio stations on these. So right around 1952, tape recorders were becoming pretty popular, but they were really, really expensive. A single channel recorder player back in 1952 was about $1,600. I'm sorry, about $1,200, and in today's money, that's about $12,000. So when this came out, it was $150, which still works out to today's money about $1,300, but it was a lot less expensive. So a small radio station might be able to afford one tape recorder, but then they might buy one of these to use in the studio. Alright, so anyway, we're going to go into this a little bit more, and I'm going to roll some footage from last summer when my friend Alan Graves was in town. Alan is a well-known Presto historian. He knows everything about the Presto Recording Company, and in fact, if you had a piece of equipment and you didn't have a manual, Alan has every manual for everything. Alan knew all about this TL10, except he had never actually seen one in person. So this is some fun footage from last summer, and hope you enjoy it. Okay, Alan, you can open your eyes now.
There it is, huh? All right. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that neat? Well, can I?
Yeah.
Is there some circuitry to it, you said?
Well, there's a little bit. There's
just
some passive
cross
components. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was I don't remember how the hell they did it, but wasn't this 2-speed? Equalizer, rewind.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of possibilities here.
Maybe not, because I've never really seen one before. Well, that doesn't look like it's got a...
Now this can actually come off, so I think that there was probably a second one of these.
Okay, then possibly. That would be for the 3 and, because I'm sure it ran at 15 and 7.5 probably. Maybe that's how they did. Yeah. Does that turn? Okay.
Yeah, you can take the nut off, and then you can pull that off completely.
Okay.
Now there was one interesting thing when I first got this. Let's see, if you undo this, it's it's reverse thread.
Yes.
And when I first got this, pull that out for a second, and let go of this. This was on the inside like this. And so here, I'm going to just put this back on real quick. So when I first got it, it was like this. And I couldn't figure out how the tension was going to work on that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Interesting.
It is kind of funny.
And then here's the head. Mm-hmm. And the wheels over here, yeah. Huh. And then rewind. Must reverse it somehow. Interesting.
Well, it doesn't actually do that. I'll explain that for you in a minute.
Huh.
And then this other switch over here is for the equalization, the roll-off for the high frequency.
Yeah, whatever depends on the tape, or noisy or not, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Interesting. What did I say? I don't know why they made the damn thing. Because radio stations had tape recorders, you know, they didn't need this to play back pre-recorded tapes. I don't know what the heck they were thinking of. So I don't know how many of them they made, but
this one is serial number 151, so they made that many of them at least.
Well, maybe. I've found out that the serial numbers aren't necessarily chronological in some of the Presto stuff. I have an older, well, that one I think you have is serial number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's some newer ones that came out that had lower serial numbers, and some of them jumped bigger serial numbers, so I don't think they kept track of them. And then they thought, well, where did we leave off? And so maybe they made a bigger number. I don't know. I never figured that one out, but somehow the serial numbers don't tell you anything about the age.
That is correct. This is actually the supply reel, and that one's actually the take-up reel. And you can tell by when this rotates clockwise, the take-up reel rotates, and the supply over here stays steady. Now what happens here is there are two, there is in play position, there's a little bit of drag on here, and in rewind position, that disengages that. Now you can't tell unless I lift it up, but there you go, see? And the reason for that is on the back side, see, there's a little lever here that when it's in rewind, it lets this free spin. Okay. And when that is in, let's see if I could reach back here. When that is in the other position, this will rotate until it clicks, and now there's a clutch action here.
Okay. Huh.
And so the funny thing is, to make it work the way it should have worked, if all this mechanism were over here, and the belt went over here, and this arm stuff was here where the switch stuff is, and the switch stuff there, but you notice that there's a pedestal here. Mm-hmm. There's no pedestal here. It really could have been easy enough for them to design the casting so that it did work the normal direction. But they didn't do that. Isn't that cool, though?
I'm wondering. Yes, it is. I'm wondering if this was no, it had to been standard. The first tape recorders that came out, some of them, the tape with the heads were on the other side of the tape instead of this side of the tape. And I'm wondering if, but no, I'm sure this would have been standard. That's interesting. Well, I'm wondering, could this be moved over to here? No. No.
It could. It
could.
could.
There's no pulley there for it, though. I just wanted to get this rewind if you took the pulley and put it over here. But
yeah, but you can't.
No, that's not the way it works.
And, you know, the direction of this could always be reversed by
twisting
twisting this, right? But that doesn't help you because the reel, this is the take-up. So, I mean, it would just be pushing the tape off and not actually rewinding.
I'm wondering, no, that doesn't make sense either. If you put it in rewind and spin the turntable at 78 to get it running faster, if that's their idea of rewind. But that sounds to me like you got to tape the tapes off.
You have to take the tapes off, swap them, and then you can go into rewind, which is really a fast forward.
Yeah, and then run the turntable at 78 instead of 33.
Yeah.
Because I think at 33 was the way this was intended to run. Yeah. Interesting. This looks like it's in pretty... Did you have to get a new belt?
Yeah.
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 But it looks like it's in pretty clean, or however you cleaned it all up.
It was this clean when I got it.
Yeah.
It just needed a belt.
Good.
So.
Yeah. Did you get this on eBay?
No, I actually got it from Kris up in Seattle.
Oh. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? It's an interesting gadget, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Huh. Well, what kind of a turntable have you got that you put that on?
Well, I'm going to demo it for you on the 8D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it really, will it sit on the 8D okay? Does it?
Well, it'll
You
need
have to-
bracketry.
Yeah,
You know, it would need
okay.
bracketry here.
Yeah.
And then, so I guess this would have a bracket here, and then it would have, you know, some little piece of metal that when this flips up, this becomes a stop to keep it
What
up.
the extra hole is for? Okay.
Yeah, that would be for mounting, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it would have to have some kind of a bracket, would it? Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. That part is missing. It doesn't even show it. This doesn't really show anything other than that, does it?
Yep, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
that's all. Yeah.
And this is the only thing I've ever seen about this is that one ad. I think this
Okay.
was dated 52 or something.
Yeah, does this, I have a book, it's about that thick, 3-ring notebook, that Presto put out a little monthly newsletter like a lot of companies did, and they called it the Presto Recorder. And they started publishing that about the time, when they first went into tape recorders, and they started publishing that. And they had a lot of ads like this in there. It would be about a little 4-page thing or something. And I've got every issue except I think I'm missing two issues out of it or something. But it started with tape recorders. Of course, they still are selling disc recorders and everything, but they had a lot of articles on tape recorder and the science behind it and blah, 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 all that stuff. And they had a lot of this in there at that time because that's about when they were selling it. And that would have been, well, when did the tape recorders first come out? About 48, 49, somewhere in there? Maybe 47, the first ones were coming out. Yeah. That's neat. That's neat. That's a great little collector's item. Somebody contacted me once, and they had gotten a hold of one of these things and didn't know what the heck it was. And it's the only time I've ever seen one. Yeah, that's neat. I can't imagine they made and sold very many of those because the radio stations would have had tape recorders. Unless they were so busy, the tape recorders were too busy playing, and this was used then for on-air. But still, it'd be a hassle to get that thing set up on a turntable. Crazy. They just got it mounted backwards on the picture, actually, don't they?
They do, because
You
this
look at it that
is the way you would expect it to be if you knew
to
tape
load it.
recorders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't make the picture right. Unless the whole thing's reversed. No, it's not. No. That's amazing. That's just amazing. Crazy things.
Okay, so Alan and I are going to try this out on the Presto 8D. So we've got this set up, and right now I'm just going to hold this up so that it clears the turntable since we don't have any brackets hooked up. And so why don't you go ahead and start that up, Alan?
Oh, there it goes.
Voila!
Isn't that neat? Isn't that just neat?
So if you wanted to fast forward, you could just go ahead and shift it into 78, I guess. There you go.
Yeah. Isn't that neat? Of course, we got it backwards, but that's okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
shows how
stuff
it
back
works,
there.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
all right.
that's
So,
neat.
so that's the Presto TL10.